Three, two, one, it's showtime. I think we are live on Facebook and Instagram. Maybe Instagram is coming. We are live, and this morning I'm going to be joined shortly by one of the Triathlon Nutrition Academy athletes, Kelly Estes, who's going to attempt to join on Instagram and Facebook this morning. Facebook hopefully is just smooth sailing and working by itself, but Insta he's going to have to come along and join me. Facebook, hopefully. Which, should be hopefully pretty easy. Come on in, Kelly. He's coming. He's coming. Here he is. Yes. I can see an echo. That is the only I have an echo going on, but otherwise I think we're good.
Okay, how's that? Is the echo gone?
Not really. Yeah, I can't hear myself anymore. We did it.
We're on both? Okay, good job. Well, we need to thank those who came before us. Yay! Because the last 2 days were problematic, and you solved that problem, and now here we are.
Well, I had to buy some extra software to be able to do this. So, yeah, screw you, Facebook. You don't make things very easy for people to use your platform. Okay. But turns out if you just add to cart elsewhere, then there is the ability to do this in a much easier way. So Kelly is joining me today all the way from Idaho Falls, USA, to share his experiences with working on his nutrition. And one of the biggest things that I think has changed for Kelly is just how much money he is saving now that he knows, what sports nutrition products to use and what works for him and what's right for him, because he was trying a whole heap of stuff and has a whole heap of stuff that he's still working his way through using up, because he is very much a shiny objects type athlete, and he sees something cool and exciting and new and he's like, yep, add to cart, done. I want to try this thing. I want to get the competitive edge. So we did do a podcast episode together a little while back, and I can reshare the link for that for anybody that does want to listen to it. But I didn't know what Kelly's amount of money that he was saving per month was exactly until we hit record on that podcast, and I was absolutely gobsmacked at just how much money he was saving. So tell me about all the things that you used to buy that you no longer need and how much money you are actually saving per month, Kelly.
Well, I used to buy a lot of supplements, which I think everybody gets supplements, but I also was spending a lot of money on Beachbody products. And if people are familiar with the program, the strength training program called P90X, they sell products that were shakes, recovery shakes, and pre-exercise drinks and things like that. And I was buying a lot of that because I had been using the P90X program off and on for years. So I was familiar with that, and it was pretty expensive. And so whenever I joined the Triathlon Nutrition Academy and learned a little bit more about really what I needed for my training program and the nutritional needs, I moved away from the Beachbody products and the supplements, and it ended up saving me $500 a month and $500 US, which is a lot of money. And so, yep. I saved that money, but what I did is I turned around and started using that money for other things in triathlon to help me get better in other areas, right? So I'm not sitting on a pile of money. I turned around and used that to help me in other ways.
Well, it helped you to save up so that you could fly to Australia to do a 70.3 with us a few weeks ago. So, you got to get a bike box to travel with your bike.
Yep.
And make sure that was nice and safe. Plus, flights and accommodation and the extra travel that you did when you were in Australia as well. So it's been put to good use.
Yes, I loved my time in Australia. I'm coming back. It was an amazing trip. I think I was there for a total of 2.5 weeks, and I will come back in 2025 for another 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. I'm going to plan out a little more vacation time this time around. And yeah, that money is not being wasted. It's going for good life experiences.
Yeah, we need to talk to your financial advisor, Steve, to figure out how to make that work for you.
Yep, Steve. I know Steve's listening, so help me out here, Steve.
Yeah. So you joined the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program back in September 22. So it's basically 2 years almost to the day that you started working on your nutrition. And what made you want to actually do that education for yourself around nutrition for the sport of triathlon?
Well, I've done some triathlon in 2006, and it was just for that 1 year, and that was a pretty good experience with trying to understand everything about equipment and nutrition. And then from 2006 till eventually till 2022, I really didn't think too much about it. But in 2022, that's whenever I retired, and I had decided to get back into triathlon again because I really enjoyed it. But I knew it was a lot of work, and I knew that nutrition was going to be an important part of the whole triathlon experience. And so I needed to try to figure that out early on. So kind of the way the sequence went was I got a really good training program in January of 2022, and I started following that. And I started looking for nutrition, and the nutrition program was a little more overwhelming. That there was a lot of information out there. There was a lot of books. There was podcasts, different things that you could read up on, and the information was just fragmented in a way that it was really difficult to put it all together. And even for the books that I looked at, I mean, it just
Yeah.
I was looking for something simple, kind of like my training program that I had. I wanted something simple that I just kind of get up and I know what I'm supposed to do that day and I can go do it. So by the time I found the Triathlon Nutrition Academy that September, I had been training since January. I had completed 5 Olympic distance triathlons already in 2022 and a half marathon. And so I was already experiencing all this stuff about there's all this food out there now. So, since 2006, there's all these gels and bars and chews on the market. And
Yeah.
and I was still pretty committed to my Beachbody products at the beginning of 2022. It was like, well, I know how that stuff works, and I'm going to keep using that. But what I was realizing through these 5 triathlons and a half marathon is that I really didn't know what was serving me best. I didn't know what products to use or why. When I would see other athletes using products, I didn't understand why they were using certain things. And if you ask somebody about it, they're going to give you a very convincing story for why they use it. But it really wasn't fact based or science based in a way that helped me feel confident that I was doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's really hard to know if you are doing the right thing because I think we were talking with Steve about that yesterday that there is so much information out there and you can try stuff and like fail forwards, but then at the end of the day, you still don't know if what you're doing is really that good for you or it's right, particularly if you have no idea how to listen to your body and understand the signs that you are doing a good job, or if you are really unsure because you have no idea how good it feels when you do then get it lined up and you're feeling like a supercharged triathlete.
Right. That's right. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. And so, in addition to saving money just on the Beachbody products and that stuff there on supplements, I was spending money on all these different gels and different stuff trying to figure out what was working. And so I was buying all the stuff and I was trying it on the bike or on the run. And still didn't know if it was working. I was trying this stuff, but it was still a lot of mystery and
Yeah.
understanding if it was serving me best. I mean, I liked the caffeine. I knew caffeine, how it made me feel. But the other stuff, I didn't understand fructose and glucose. I didn't understand how carbs and proteins played into it. I mean, I was just trying different things, and it was still a mystery. As much as I experimented, it was still a mystery.
Yeah, and you're not somebody that likes the unknown either. You're very data driven and you've got the most amazing spreadsheets I've ever seen, and everything gets tracked
Mm,
and there's
yeah, yeah,
trends and there's
yeah,
graphs and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yes,
You
yes,
like to know that what you're doing is right and that it's all optimized and all of your levers are pulled in the right direction. And it is a journey for sure. It's not something that you can get right on the very first attempt.
right.
I don't think nutrition is something that's ever kind of evolving and we're tweaking it as we learn more and we get fitter and we get faster and we figure out really what works for us and then we can kind of fine-tunely finesse it.
Hmm.
But I love love looking at your spreadsheets and looking at your trends and things like that, because I know that there's a lot of triathletes out there that love the numbers, love the data, and they want to know exactly what to be doing at every step of the way.
Yeah. Because there's still a lot of mystery in it. In that, without the education provided by the Triathlon Nutrition Academy, without that education of understanding what's taking on the right path, you don't know, because you have these indicators when you're doing triathlon. Do I feel good? Do I have energy that I need? And you want to know if am I feeling as good as possible? Do I have as much energy as possible? And all of the spreadsheets and things like that do not necessarily answer those questions. So it's the educational aspect that tells you that here's what the data, here's what the, well, I don't know if you call it data, but here's what the studies have shown based on whether it's research through Olympics or other programs. But it's that information that tells you, it in turn tells me that, yes, I'm doing all the right things, and so I can expect that my performance is going to be as good as possible. And so, yeah, the spreadsheets I have help me measure my progress over time and shows that I'm getting faster and faster and healthier. But the mystery of how I got here is not nearly as much of a mystery as it was whenever I first started in 2022.
Yeah, that's common feedback that I get from apps and things where you're dictated macros to eat on a daily basis. Like, you need this much carbs, you need this many calories. It doesn't actually teach athletes then how to eat or how to hit those targets. And then you still have no idea if that is actually the right targets for you. It's really common feedback that I get from a lot of people, is that there's still no education, there's still confusion. And I'm really passionate about teaching triathletes and equipping them with the knowledge and understanding so that you can go, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't sound right to me, or, that doesn't look like enough, or that looks like too much. And and have all those skills, because I'm going to teach you everything that I know. Like, there's no holds barred. We leave no stone left unturned when it comes to triathlon nutrition, so that you have that knowledge and understanding to question things and look at things critically and go, yeah, that's going to be okay, or hang on, that's actually like really wrong, and that's not probably going to serve me that well.
There's a couple of things that came to mind while you're talking about that. So through the program, through TNA, one of the other indicators that I had that was a measure of success was I used to come home after training, and I had to take a nap. You and I have talked about that before. I'd come home and I'd take a nap, and I mean, that was just a normal part of my training day. I'd go out and I'd run and ride the bike. And I'd come home, and I wouldn't eat anything or a recovery meal of any kind. I'd just come in and I'd take a nap, then I'd get up, and then I'd eat something. And I didn't realize the indicator for what it was in terms of my energy levels. So you helped us understand how to eat, where now I practice pre-training eating, during my training eating, and my post-training recovery meals in a way such that my energy levels I don't need to nap anymore. I seldom nap, except for, I'm retired. And so if I want to nap, I can, but I don't feel
I hate you.
Yeah. I don't
I
feel
want a
like
nap,
it.
but I can't.
Yeah. You don't need a nap. You need to teach people like me how to do stuff.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was really valuable to me now is because of what I've learned in the academy about how to select the right foods to optimize my performance. I can now take a trip to Australia where I have no idea what's in the supermarkets. I mean, I kind of have an idea, and I can do some research. And you guys were helpful a little bit about that Australia was not a third world country, and I was going to be able to find food there. But
we have bagels. It's okay.
Yeah, I do bagels. So we came to Australia. I went to the supermarket. I picked up the stuff I needed so that I could continue my healthy diet, and I could do the carb loading I needed to do before Sunshine 70.3 on that. I arrived on a Tuesday. The race was on a Sunday, and I had no glitch in my nutrition program that for what I needed to do to prep for the race and race day and the recovery afterwards. And all that was because of the education that you've provided us, that I was really comfortable knowing what I needed to do. I didn't know how I was necessarily going to do it. I knew what I needed to do. And then when I got there and I got in the grocery store and I could see what they had, have, and I could kind of figure out what I needed to do, and it worked out great.
Yeah. And the other thing that we helped you guys with coming all the way to Australia was trying to minimize your jet lag because you had such a long travel distance and duration. And heading into an international race where you've got to travel for 24 hours, jet lag is a big thing. And we know that jet lag is going to affect performance. So one of the masterclasses I did for our alumni program is how to beat the jet lag and pull all of the nutrition strategies that we have at our fingertips in together for these guys to show them how to get over jet lag as quickly as possible. And both you and Steve followed the plan. Yes. How did that go for you? How was your jet lag experience coming all the way down under?
Yeah, so flying there, I didn't really notice any jet lag. I mean, there's nothing really noticeable compared to jet lag that I've experienced in the past. I knew going in that direction, coming to Australia, that the jet lag probably wouldn't be as bad as coming home. So we got there, didn't really have a problem. And in fact, we felt so good that Steve and I made a video about how good we felt because of the jet lag protocol that you provided for us. And we posted it on the TNA page and Facebook to let people know that we appreciated that. So then on my return flight, I wasn't quite sure what to expect because coming back to the United States, I knew that the jet lag was probably going to be a little bit worse. But I followed your guidance, followed the app, and it worked out really well. And I didn't have really any noticeable jet lag. I mean, the first day or so, my sleep schedule was off a little bit, but I went to bed on time. I got up on time. Things worked out really well. And I did have another experience to compare it to because I went to Vietnam in 2013. And when I came back from Vietnam in 2013, I was so exhausted. The jet lag was so bad that I laid in bed for like 2 days straight. It was just, it was amazing. I just couldn't believe how devastating it was. But when I came back from Australia, I was right back at it. In fact, I did an Olympic distance triathlon that weekend. I got home late on a Wednesday night, and on Saturday, I raced in an Olympic distance triathlon here locally. I took first place on my age group, and I still shaved time off of my previous year time. So that is saying something about the jet lag protocol and how it helped me with my productivity. I mean, just all of it has been a good experience.
Yeah, you did an Olympic distance a couple of weeks off the back of a 70.3 with very minimal training. You didn't do a lot in that period of time. You did a lot of sightseeing and then, international travel and ended up getting on the podium. Like, well done, Kelly.
Yeah, well, I gained 5 pounds in tourism weight because of all the restaurant food, the kangaroo burgers, all the things that I was eating, ice cream. You know, it was, and I
That's what holidays are for.
No, I know it. I don't feel guilty about it. I'm actually surprised that I performed as well as I did. So it really turned out well.
That's because I've taught you nothing. Weight does not equal performance, right?
Right. That's right. You're right. So I have a great training program. I have a great nutrition program, and together, I'm performing very well, and I have a wonderful lifestyle as a result of it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, you do. I'm very jealous of your retirement life. It seems very very chill and very easy, and you get to do what you want at every minute of the day, which I'm very jealous about.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah.
So what, like the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program is a 9-month program. You get 12 months access though, because I know that life happens and we get busy as triathletes. So it's 9 months. It's a long duration in time because, hey, we are endurance athletes. We play the long game, but I also have so much to teach you. And I don't feel like you can understand everything you need to know to be a good triathlete in a quick fix 8-week, fast thing. There is so much to learn. So we spread it out, and I like to teach athletes quite systematically so that each week builds on the next, and we build all the way up our pyramid in the right way. So we have a nice solid foundation, and then we build up all the way to our secret strategies and 1%ers. Whereas most triathletes like to build their nutrition from the secrets, like the sprinkles up, which honestly don't really have that much effect because we haven't got those right foundations laid. So it's a big duration in time for a reason, and it goes quick anyway. And the other thing is it is an investment, like financially. It's not a cheap, $97 program, because I know that well, one, you're not going to do it if it's $97, and two, there is so much value packed in the program. Did you have any hesitations about those two things before you joined, Kelly?
No, I wouldn't say there were hesitations. I was certainly cost sensitive in that I wanted to make sure that I was going to get my money's worth out of it. But the TNA, the way you presented the stuff in the web page presentation is that before I bought into the program was that it was an online class. It was basically self-paced in many ways. I was going to be able to get video recorded master classes and watch them later if I couldn't attend. But what was really valuable, especially as I went through the program, is as I learned the material and then joined a weekly live, what's called Power Hour, where I could ask questions and interact with other athletes. It turned into a very wonderful learning experience that continues to this day, because as much as I learned in 9 months and have implemented in numerous races over the last 2.5 years of racing, I still come up with these questions about, well, what about this and what about that? Because new products, new products come on the market, or I'm trying to optimize something for some race distance. And so, I ask you questions about, should I use this gel versus a chew on the bike, or should I use this gel versus a chew on the run, and why? And you explain glucose and fructose and the absorption channels in the stomach in a way that I could turn around and explain that to somebody else now and help them understand it. I mean, I really understand the material very well, but it's because of those weekly sessions where we get together and can ask questions, the power hours that really allow me to ask questions and interact in my way that helps me remember all this stuff. So I just can't believe how much I've learned in this program and keep learning.
Yes, it's amazing. And people ask different questions that, your mind works very differently to somebody else's mind. And so you'll ask questions that somebody hadn't even thought about. So while we have the group online in our power hour sessions, everyone is benefiting from everyone's question, and we're all learning together, which I love. Plus, you get to make friends with triathletes all over the world and join our amazing community, which is the best part about the program, in my opinion.
Well, I travel to races, and if I know somebody from the Triathlon Nutrition Academy is going to be there, I try to find them, and I try to make a video with them or take a picture or do something to meet them and get to know them. So I think everybody that is in our alumni power hour, I've met them. I think I've met almost everybody in person. Maybe I have met everybody that's currently in our alumni power hour. Now I know we'll have new people coming in, but it's amazing that I've been able to meet everybody in person from not everybody. There's a couple of people from England I haven't met, but from Australia and the United States and Canada, I've met almost everybody. And going back to your question about, well, what about the cost? I have a little story about, at the time when I joined the Triathlon Nutrition Academy, because I was so eager to understand nutrition better, I had already signed up for a different online nutrition program that was self-paced, and I think I paid $1,000 for it. It was an online program that was self-paced, and it was sports nutrition, and it was hard to go through because all it was you read a book and then you took a test, and you read more stuff and you took a test. And there was no interaction with anybody, and it was really hard. And they give you a year to complete it, and I think I started that in July. And whenever I found the Triathlon Nutrition Academy and started doing that, I was able to get through it and learn more in 9 months. Well, what ended up happening with this other online course was my year came and went. And whenever I got to the end of the 1 year, I had to hurry and cram all the material through and take all the online tests and get it done because I didn't want to waste $1,000. But I don't remember that much from that program. I have a certificate, but it was not that meaningful of a program. I mean, I just don't recommend that approach versus the Triathlon Nutrition Academy. I mean, after going through it, I've drank the Kool-Aid. I mean, I am a firm believer that this is the way to go. even though it costs more, but I'm a believer.
Yeah.
So
Is
sign
that
up. Sign up.
Drunk the Kool-Aid? That's a good one.
Yeah.
Is that the nutrition program that gives you the certificate so that you can then teach other people about nutrition? Is that the one that
No,
you
it's not
like?
to teach them. You can become a coach. You become a nutrition coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the problem with the internet. That makes me so angry.
Yeah.
You didn't learn shit.
Hey, this is America. It's the way it works.
Oh man, it's so bad. My blood is boiling just thinking about that. But anyway, we digress. Let's not make me all angry about the nutrition education certificates you can get online. So what's been some of your favorite parts about the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program?
Well, I like having the material that's available to us so I can go back and review it. So the master classes that are videos, I can go back and review them, and there's slides that come with it and worksheets, and I like being able to go back and review that material, and then probably the best part is the weekly alumni power hours that I continue to be a part of, because we finished the 9-month program for my group. We finished that in what was it, April or May of 23?
July 23. Yep.
Okay, and so I continued in the alumni power hour, which is an ongoing weekly meeting, and that's been most beneficial because we continue to develop race plans. I continue to develop carb loading plans and race day plans that we review in those weekly meetings with a group of other very experienced triathletes. And I get feedback about different food to try, different gels and chews to try, and to see what other people like, different products when they come online. We talk about new powders and gels and things, of what's in them and is it optimum for our performance. And that is such a time saver to have that kind of a discussion available to me week to week as an ongoing triathlete. I mean, I continue to race. I have 4 70.3s that I'm doing this year and 3 Olympic distances. And so I've already done 3 of the 70.3s and 3 Olympics. And believe me, feeling good and optimizing performance is very dear to my heart. Every time I'm out there racing, I'm thinking, God, can't this be easier? Can I go faster? Am I feeling as good as I could be feeling?
You never, like with triathlon, there's always something to improve on, right? So you're always like, what can I tweak and dial in more so that I can perform to the best of my ability always?
Yeah.
Like there's always something to improve on, which is why it's such an addictive sport.
And I do keep improving. I mean, I shave off like 15 minutes off my 70.3 time. Every race I've shaved off about 15 minutes this year.
Yeah.
So I keep getting faster, and that's amazing to me that I keep getting faster.
Yep. And you're still going to keep getting faster as well. But then there'll be a time where you kind of plateau in a way, and then it'll just be little minutes that you have here and there.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the common questions I get asked about the program all the time is like, how do you individualize nutrition to me? Like, yes, it's a group program, but how do you understand about me and make sure that my nutrition is dialed in for me? And we do that, like Kelly just said, in our power hour sessions. Like our masterclass is pre-recorded and it opens and unlocks itself at 5 a.m. Saturday mornings, Brisbane time, which if you're in the US or Canada or UK, it's Friday afternoon, evening, sometime, depending on what time zone you're in. You watch that, and then we meet almost weekly for our power hour sessions. And the more I know about you and the more you interact with me or use our space to submit questions if you can't make it, the more I can help you really dial in your nutrition. And the longer you're in the program for, the more I learn about you as well. So I've known Kelly for 2 years now. I know a lot about his life. And so when he asks me a question, so much about what I do is not what the specific question is, but what is the underlying question to the question. But that's a side note. That's how I can help you make sure your nutrition is custom and individualized to you. I don't need to write you a specific meal plan and go, here, follow this, because I don't find that that's particularly valuable. not for the long term anyway. You might follow that for a week or two and then you get bored and then you go off the rails, or you have a holiday, or you get sick and you have absolutely no idea how to adapt your nutrition to your situation. So I like to equip athletes with the knowledge and the understanding about why we do the things and how to do it specifically, so that you can finesse your nutrition instantaneously if something happens. Like, I don't know, the shit hits a fan, or you get sick, or you get injured, or, you know, family comes to stay, you end up going out for dinner. The wheels don't fall off when you have some education behind you to make decisions on your own, rather than have to go to a consultation every week to make tiny changes to your plan based on whatever's going on in life. And I think that's really valuable. And it's probably something I need to get better at articulating on the Academy page, because it is a common question that I get around how the program works and how it is actually individualized to me. So some of your favorite parts are our power hour sessions. What are you working on with your nutrition now, Kelly? Like, yes, you've been through the program. You're in our alumni program off the back end now. You've been learning about nutrition for the last 2 years. What are the things that you're trying to dial in at the moment to optimize your performance?
Well, I still work on what's called periodization, which is how to optimize my eating behaviors between races. I think I've really got a good feel for what to do in the lead up to a race. So the week before, or even 2 weeks before the race, of what it is that I do to get ready. I know what to do on race day, and I know what to do during the week after. So a focus for me now is to make sure that from one race to the next, am I eating and doing the things I need to do to optimize? So you know, like anybody, whenever I come back from training day to day, I'm not necessarily that hungry. When I, you know, so before I started Triathlon Nutrition Academy, I wouldn't eat before I went training, and when I came back from training, I didn't necessarily eat. I kind of thought, well, I'm just gonna not eat and I'll lose some weight and I'll lean up and that's gonna be good. I'm gonna like that.
Yeah. How's that
So,
going?
well, I'm very lean, but right now I'm probably as lean as I've ever been. But I eat every day before I go do my training. I eat during the training based on what I've learned, and then after training, I come home and I eat. And a lot of times I don't. As I started this, discussion, I don't feel like eating, but I eat because I know I'm not eating to just recover from the training I just did. I'm eating for 24 to 48 hours from now, and that I've got to train tomorrow and I've got to train the day after, and I need energy for that. And so I understand how all that fits together now. And so that's the kinds of stuff I continue to work on, is making sure I'm optimizing not today's training, but my training, in a couple days and the coming weeks.
Okay. I think that's a long-term journey for a lot of people, because it's one of the key concepts of triathlon nutrition is eating for the work required and not eating the same thing every day. Like, we do need to match our fueling and our nutrition to the demands of training, because when we train for 3 sports, every day of training is different. You might have a lighter rest or recovery type day, which is different nutrition to a 3, 4, 5, 6 hour ride day. You can't eat the same thing on both of those days and hope that your nutrition is going to work for you, because it's not. That's when you end up falling in an absolute heap, and what I call the tired triathlete, where you need a nap for the rest of the day after you do sessions like that, or you hit the afternoon sort of 3:30 window, I call it, where you just start craving sweet and you go searching for fast acting sugars to pick you up out of that hole, or you go and take a nap, which a lot of us don't have the time and the luxury of having a nap. We've got to work, we've got a parent. And so all of those things are indicators to me that your nutrition is not right. And when you can understand how to match eating to training demands and not be reliant on appetite, because a lot of athletes don't feel hungry. Appetite's not a great indicator as a triathlete that your body is telling you what you need. We kind of need to override it in a way, but knowing how to do that, so we're not restricting, trying to lose weight by not eating, and then the floodgates open and then we end up just binge eating everything inside. None of those are good strategies. It's not going to lead to good performance if you're doing those sorts of things. So periodization is very much a long game, and it does change and evolve as your athlete journey changes and evolves too. I would suggest, Kelly's getting fitter. He's getting leaner, he's getting faster, and so his periodization looks different now compared to what it did, say, 2 years ago. It's a long endurance journey of education around how to do that. But knowing how to do that helps you to set yourself up for success for life, not just, for the 8 weeks that you see a dietitian in clinic for.
Right. Yeah. I'm as lean as I've ever been and as fast as I've ever been, but yet I eat as much or more than I ever have. It's just different. It's just eating different things at different times. And it's working very well for me. My energy levels are great. My performance is great. And I hope it keeps getting better. I mean, it's just an exciting time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what's on the cards for you next, Kelly? What's the big picture plans? I know we've got Sunny Coast 2025 on the race calendar, but do you want to go to Kona? Do you want to do something like Ultraman? What do you want to do with your triathlon career?
Originally I was going to do 1 or maybe 2 full-length Ironman races in 2025 and Sunshine Coast. But what I've observed over the last 2 years, because I race, 7 races a year, which is a lot, 1 every other month. What I find is that I spend a lot of time in race preparation and execution phase and not in development phase. And that's kind of counterproductive. So what I'm going to do in 2025 is I'm not going to race as much. The only race I have on the calendar right now will be Sunshine Coast. And I'm going to spend the majority of the year in development phase, meaning that I'm going to be working on my fast before far approach and strong before long philosophy, and try to get faster and stronger so that when I come to Sunshine Coast, I can try to swim, try to stay on the heels of Taryn, maybe. I don't know.
No, nobody's allowed on my feet.
No. But that's the idea in 2025. So after that, and part of that, the reason I was going to go that way in 25 is that I really do get tired, just generally fatigued in general from racing so much. Even though I enjoy it, I know it's not helping me get faster as fast as I would like to be. So 2025 is about getting faster. So I'm not sure how many races for sure, but Sunshine Coast is the only thing I'm certain about, and then we'll see what else comes along. Then in 26, I will probably put in 1 or 2 full-length Ironman events based on kind of how 2025 goes and the progress I've made there. Because I want to get
one's
faster.
Plenty.
Yeah.
Two is a lot. It's two in a year is a lot. I think 1 and focusing on 1 is probably a good strategy to start with, and use some 70.3s as leverage in practice runs in the lead up if you need to do a little more racing if you feel like doing that. Right.
Yeah, I might do a full towards the end of 25 where Sunshine Coast is this intermediate. It just fits in, dovetails nicely with a full Ironman, but I haven't really committed to that yet.
Okay, I love that Sunny Coast 70.3 is on the cards, like committed.
Guaranteed.
Add to cart.
Add to cart. As soon as that race opens next week, I'm going to be registered and have accommodation and airfare within a few days after.
Yes, so good, so exciting. I'm so excited to do it again.
Yeah.
So we've got quite a lot of people that have been watching along all week, Kelly, and thinking about, helping, like leveling up their nutrition with the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program, but they haven't kind of bit the bullet yet and made the commitment to do so. Any advice for those people that are sitting on the fence around what they should do with their nutrition?
Yeah, well, I'll echo what was mentioned in the last 2 days that you've had Aaron and Steve on, where you guys have talked about this really is a good time of the year to join the program, that through the winter months when you're likely not racing, if it might be considered off season, this is a really good time to look at your nutrition and start trying to get better at it. So if you start the Triathlon Nutrition Academy now in October and you spend the next 9 months getting nutrition squared away, then you're really positioning yourself very well for the 2025 race season. That a lot of times people, you see them come into the academy in the spring or the summer, and they're going to want to know what's the strategy? Just give me the facts I need to be able to go out and race right away. And
Yeah.
that's difficult to do. That even if you gave them some kind of a plan to help them for that particular race, they won't necessarily know how to execute it or why they're doing certain things. And it really won't necessarily work out in their favor because they won't have a chance to train with it or understand it very well or change their chews or their gels for the right kind. They're just not going to have time to do that before a race season. So joining now is the right time to do it. And you look at the price, but the price, I spend more money on a lot of other things for triathlon, to where the price of nutrition is very reasonable compared to everything else I spend money on, whether it's bikes, swimming equipment, running equipment, other educational things that I do. The price for the Triathlon Nutrition Academy is very reasonable, especially when I compare it to what else have I spent it on. The other nutrition programs I've went after, or the books I've read, or the podcasts, or other things that I listen to, where the information's fragmented, and I just get frustrated because I don't have a holistic view. With the Triathlon Nutrition Academy, it's a holistic view in a way that you can't help but think this is worth the money, and that I wish I would have started earlier. If you're serious about triathlon, I don't think that you can find a better holistic approach, at least from what I've studied, what I've looked at when I came into the program. There just wasn't anything comparable.
And you can be confident that Kelly's done his research, because he's very good at looking at all the options, and there would have been a spreadsheet and comparison, all those things. So you can have confidence that he has looked all over to find something to be suitable. And there's honestly nothing like this that actually exists at the moment. We're the only education program for triathletes in the world, specifically, designed by a triathlete for triathletes, and with evidence-based nutrition as our basis, not just some random certificate that you can get online for $1,000 and not ever talk to anyone.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I should laugh.
I think, well, no, but that's a key aspect, is those weekly get-togethers where you get to reinforce your learning. I don't think there's any program, even for the programs that are out there that might be considered competitive or comparable. None of them give an opportunity for people to get together and have conversations with someone like you or other triathletes that have years of experience. There's no other program out there that you can get into that allows you to do that on a regular basis, that allows you to continue to grow and enhance your learning. So even when you do look at those other programs, you need to understand that these social interactions weekly could be considered priceless. With what, how you can learn that stuff, especially when you're coming up on a race and you have race specific questions. Power hour is where where the rubber meets the road for figuring out what you're going to do.
Where the rubber meets the road. I love it.
Yeah.
We do have, some people watching along online. So if you have any questions for me or for Kelly, I know Kylie's on Instagram. You've been here the whole time, Kylie. If you have anything you want to ask, chuck it away in the comment section. If you're watching the replay and you've missed us, still chuck it in there, and I'll see it later and I can respond. Or if you want to be a secret squirrel, slide into my DMs and I can chat to you in there. Or I'm sure Kelly wouldn't mind if you reach out to him as well and asked him some questions if you wanted to ask from an athlete's perspective. But doors are open only until Sunday night my time. So I don't know, sometime on the weekend, depending on where you are. If you go to dietitianapproved.com/academy, the link is below us on Facebook, that you can go and have a look about all of the 36 masterclasses that we cover inside the program, the recipe database that you get access to, the menu planning that you get access to, plus, power hours with me most weeks. That information will have a countdown timer around when doors close as well. And when they do close this weekend, they're not opening again until 2025. That's it. And every time I do this, hands down, every time somebody emails me and says, wait, I missed it. I got confused with time zones and I missed it. And the answer is it's too late. We're already started. We're already away. The very first masterclass unlocks itself tomorrow morning, my time. So in less than 24 hours. So you can get stuck straight into your recovery nutrition. And then we're straight away with Power Hour this week as well. So if you miss it, you have to wait till 2025 to work on your nutrition. And by the time January 2025 comes around, you'll have wished you have started, because you'll already be through and complete phase 1, which is all of our day-to-day nutrition information, where I help you know exactly what to eat on a daily basis. There's no confusion around how to eat for a light day, how to eat for a hard day, making sure you're ticking all of the right components as an endurance athlete and getting all the nutrients that you need, not just making sure it fits your macros. You know, I can teach you how to eat without counting calories, or I can teach you to count calories depending on what type of athlete you are, because I know people like to do both. And we have both of those bases covered depending on who you are and how you like to do things. But there's both ways. There's plenty of ways to skin a cat. Whatever it is that works best for you, that you can do consistently and maintain for a longer period of time, that's where you're going to have success. You don't have success in the one thing that you do occasionally. It's those small daily habits compounded over time that have the greatest impact on your performance. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, Kylie, or send me a DM later if you need to. But doors do close this weekend, so you've got 2 days to sort of figure it out. And then we get started straight away in leveling up our nutrition with an advanced sports dietitian with more than 16 years of experience, plus our group together. We're all going to fail forwards. It's a safe space. There's no stupid questions. And we have athletes inside from all levels of triathlon. So I know Kelly's like more experienced now. He's got 3 years of triathlon. Is 3 years of triathlon under your belt?
Yeah. 2.5.
We have... Yes, and we have athletes that have been doing triathlon for 30 years, and we have athletes that have never done a triathlon before and are only just getting started. So don't be intimidated by this guy who's done millions of 70.3s in a full distance. We have athletes at every stage of the game. We've got people that go to Kona and win Kona, and then people that have never done a sprint try yet. So it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. Nutrition is something that you want to layer in sooner rather than later, because everyone, once they do it, they go, I wish I had have done this when I started my triathlon career, not 10 years too late. It's a very common feedback I get, is that people wish they did it earlier. All right, any last words, Kelly?
Well, I do have one more story I want to tell, because it came up with Erin and your first time you guys
Yes.
did. So she was saying, hey, you really ought to ask Kelly about how he does his on the bike nutrition while riding uphill.
Yep.
And so that's something that I actually learned in the academy, and most of the foundation of what I was doing there. So one of the things that you've taught us is about taking nutrition at some regular intervals, and me not knowing any different, right? I think it doesn't matter if I'm running fast or running slow or riding uphill or riding downhill or whatever. When it's time to do nutrition, I try to do nutrition, right? Especially so what Erin was asking about was, we went to bike camp and we had very long uphill rides at bike camp this July. And so on those rides, when it came time to do nutrition, which for me, I do nutrition, like 3 times an hour or something like that at a certain interval. When it's time to do nutrition, I'm able to, because I've trained with it, I'm able to eat and drink when it's time, whether I'm going uphill or downhill. If there's short hills, I might wait, but whenever, like at bike camp, this was uphill for hours, right? And so I was doing nutrition as if it was flat land. When it was time to eat, I would do my nutrition. It was really very helpful. And that was something that the fundamentals of that is I learned in the academy, is this is what you should be doing, independent of the terrain that you're on, because your body needs the fuel, the nutrition. And so I was doing that. And so apparently Erin noticed that. She hadn't really mentioned that to me before, but I'm glad. Hopefully it was helpful for her. But
mad skills.
But it's amazing the different things that I've learned in the academy. That's not just nutrition education. It's all these other things that I've learned from other athletes or from you that have just made, overall, it's just made me a very, very competent triathlete for only being in this sport for 2.5 years now. So I'm very
Yeah.
comfortable, very comfortable.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that you can hoe down on your nutrition while biking uphill and somebody notices that.
Yeah.
And to come full circle, like all those things that you've learned, you are saving more money than the program costs each month. Like that's the kind of level of money Kelly is saving. So
Yeah.
it's an investment that I helped him.
Yes.
Helped him save more than it costs. So he's in the positive.
Well, yeah, I mean, so let's pretend that I hadn't have taken your program. If you can imagine that I would still be trying all these different gels or powders, and I would be trying to figure out what works best. And every time I go to a race, they put some kind of new product in my goodie bag. And so I might be trying, well, name the product. You know, there's all kinds of new gels and powders and sports
Yeah,
drinks.
that protein powder they were giving away recently. We reviewed that one Power Hour because everyone got that in their race bags.
So I would be buying this stuff. I'd be ordering a bunch of it. I'd have it on my shelf. I'd be trying it, and I'd still be wondering, is it working or not? Or if it's not working, I wouldn't know if it's because I'm not using it right. Am I supposed to use it in a combination with something? I mean, I would have no idea if it's money well spent. So it's not just the money you saved me back then. I mean, it would probably be even bigger if you hadn't taught me then. I can imagine I'd be spending even more money per month right now trying to figure out how to get to where I'm at. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's one of my favorite parts about the program that was not something I ever intended, was just how much money I would save people by not spending it on useless shit that is like not even beneficial or useful, or you just don't need it, or it's a wrong product for you.
Right.
Yeah, so good. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Kelly, and I'm so glad we got the Insta Facebook thing sorted. Third time lucky. It does work pretty well, doesn't it? So if you do have any questions, please send them through. I'll be online for the next couple of days as we head towards doors closing. I'm sure Kelly would be happy to chat too.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you so much for your time, Kelly. It's a pleasure to work with you on your nutrition, and I'm excited to see where you go. Like, who knows what's going to happen with your triathlon career in the next few years?
That's right. I'm going to get faster.
Faster. He's so competitive. He calls me competitive, and like I'm openly honest about being competitive. But Kelly's like this quiet achiever. Like, yeah, I got to get faster. I got to beat Terrence Swim.
I'm going.
She doesn't know it yet.
I already have my goals set.
Yeah. I'm going to do some training for Sunny Coast 70.3, our TNA team next year. So hopefully I can beat my swim as well, because I just had too much fun out there. I need to, pull my finger out and actually swim hard.
Yeah. Well, good for you. You already do really well, so I hope you do even better.
Thanks, mate. All right. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you to everyone that's still here hanging out, watching the end. Feel free to send us a message offline afterwards. And if you're catching the replay and have any questions, chuck them below here and we'll see them later. But thank you so much, Kelly. I'll see you at Power Hour next week.
Yep. And everybody reach out to me. If you want to reach out directly to me, just do it. I'll help any way I can.
Yeah, you're so good at that. Thank you, Kelly.
Great. Bye.